So Spider-Man is finally here in Marvel's Avengers along with the Claw Raid and everything else in Update 2.2. So I'm going to just kind of give my initial impressions with Spider-Man in this video along with kind of a general gameplay review of him and just give my thoughts on everything. So if you enjoyed this video today, feel free to like and subscribe for future Marvel content. So to start, on a very general sense, I think Spider-Man feels a lot like how Black Panther did and does actively, just the way his melee style works. And I think, honestly, that's to be expected at this point. I think we're going to see not necessarily skins of other heroes, but I just think we're going to see heroes that are very, very similar to each other. We see it with Kate Bishop and Hawkeye. Obviously, Kate Bishop and Hawkeye are not the same hero at all, but their melee styles are very similar. I think I'm seeing that trend with Black Panther and Spider-Man as well. I mean, with the rumored characters that are still coming, the biggest ones seem to be She-Hulk, Winter Soldier, and War Machine seem to be the next rumored ones that are coming. So if that's the case, I can easily see those also being very similar. You know, She-Hulk being similar to Hulk, Winter Soldier being similar to Captain America, and then War Machine being similar to Iron Man. So honestly, it's not a bad thing in my opinion, because even with Spider-Man, Spider-Man still feels very different from Black Panther. He is a very different character, but it's just his general melee style has that same type of feel as Black Panther. So I mean, clearly the Insomniac version of Spider-Man was the inspiration for Marvel's Avengers Spider-Man, to the point where some moves are the exact same. And I'm not even saying that to be like a bad thing. I think it's honestly fine, and I think it's a great, thing to have inspiration for, because obviously Insomniac Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man we've seen to date, period. So I mean, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. He has a Spidey Sense animation / kind of icon over his head to let you know to avoid attacks, which is something that's expected, but it's just kind of a cool little detail that I do appreciate. So the web status effect is much better than I originally thought. It can actually web enemies to the walls and hold them there. It can also web enemies to each other. So actually, I should say web status effect specifically doesn't web enemies to each other, but Spider-Man does have different webs that do that. He has the tether web, and he has a type of, what's the word I'm looking for? He has a type of version of his assault heroic, the web bomb, where instead of it being like a web grenade type bomb, he can throw it as a grenade still, except it explodes into 6 different tethers, and it basically webs the 6 enemies that it catches together, just in a centralized location. Very similar to how Kate Bishop's Assault Heroic, she has a version of it where it's kind of like a gravity well that pulls people in that I like to use. It's very similar to that. So, when an enemy is webbed up with the web status effect, it makes them extremely susceptible to being able to do a takedown on. So you can do, Spider-Man is probably going to be next to like Black Widow and stuff with being able to do the most takedowns for a hero. So it's going to be really good to see. So the ranged web shooter attacks are not nearly as bad as the initial gameplay reveal, in my opinion, because in the initial gameplay reveal, they just made them look very, very slow, like he was just not shooting webs at all. You can shoot the webs just like the normal ranged web shooters. You can shoot them pretty fast. You still can't do it as fast per se as like Insomniac Spider-Man or anything like that, but honestly, Insomniac Spider-Man is the king. You're not going to get better than that. And they're doing what they can with this game. So, but you can shoot them still faster than it seemed like in the initial gameplay reveal. So now the biggest topic that I would say that people might be, wondering about is the swinging. So, being honest, at first, the swinging felt extremely choppy, but I honestly think it's because I just kind of came off playing a little bit of Insomniac Spider-Man, and I'm also used to playing Insomniac Spider-Man the most as being the most recent Spider-Man game that I've played. So obviously, even though Insomniac's version is still absolutely better, there's no really discussing that, after getting used to the swinging is not bad at all, in my opinion. I think Insomniac's, it might involve more faster, short swings. Like, if you want to go for speed in Insomniac Spider-Man, the faster, short swings, in my opinion, are the fastest that you're going to be able to do. But in the Avengers version, it's a little different, where in the Avengers version, you might benefit more from swinging the entire length of the swing and then pressing X to jump off, I've found. I mean, going off of this as well, though, without official testing, the swinging feels like it easily makes Spider-Man the fastest traversal option in the game, because I feel like I'm just moving way faster with the swinging and stuff. I hope that they can maybe retroactively add some aspects to the characters that we already have to make certain traversal options that make sense. To make them allow them to move faster. Like, the example that I like to use is, like, for the Hulk, just make it so, like, if the Hulk has his intrinsic all the way up or something, that if you run and you hold R2, he just infinitely gets faster. And, well, I shouldn't say infinitely, but he just continues to gain speed while running until his intrinsic bar runs out. I think that would just be an addition like that is smart. They can add one to Captain America if they want, but I think the smartest one would be for Hulk, because Hulk, I feel like, just needs to generally run faster because he's the Hulk, right? And then the next biggest thing that came out of this, which I wasn't expecting, is that Spider-Man can perform air takedowns, which might not seem like a big deal, especially if we're comparing it to Insomniac Spider-Man, but this makes him the first character to be able to do air takedowns that are unique. I'm not talking about, like, takedowns he does where he's glitched in the air. No, I'm talking like you can knock somebody in the air if they're in a takedown status, jump up in the air, and do a unique air takedown. So I think this is a big deal because it opens up the possibilities of doing different air takedowns and different takedowns in general with the other heroes. And then, I mean, kind of just the only other thing that I'll talk about regarding Spider-Man right now, because this is just my initial impression, is all of the cosmetics that I've seen from him in the game look incredible. And I'm not really even saying this to, like, throw shade, but in my opinion, a lot of the cosmetics on a very general level are better than Insomniac's. And like I said, I'm not even saying that the skins that Insomniac has, they're not bad at all by any means, right? But I just feel, in my personal opinion, the Avengers game has more cosmetics that I'd be willing to wear more often. Like in the Insomniac Spider-Man game, I feel like maybe I'll wear like 7 different skins, like 7 to 10 different skins throughout the entirety of the game. But I feel, and personally, this is just me, I feel a lot more personal attraction to a lot more of the cosmetics that Avengers has shown me so far for him. And I mean, at the end of the day, I guess that's what Avengers is good for, right? Making cosmetics. So, but on a very general level, that's all I got to say about Spider-Man for right now. I'm going to go ahead and level him up to 50, get him to at least power level 150, because I'm not going to be able to get him to 175. I'm not going to be able to get anybody to 175 that fast, and I'm probably going to make a video on that, talking about that as well and my thoughts on that. But if you enjoyed this video today, feel free to like and subscribe for future Marvel content, and I appreciate you for watching the video.